Good morning, Canada. It's tax season. And although tax season is not always welcome, I'm here today with TurboTax General Manager Matt Lisowski and our tax expert Susan Watkin to answer all your tax questions. Make sure to send your questions below in the comments, as we'll be giving away some TurboTax Live Assistant Review product code. From a recent survey that we conducted, we found that 80% of Canadians, adults, did not learn how to do their taxes in high school. And we found that information to be really interesting because clearly we can all use some extra support. So Matt, can you tell us how TurboTax has responded to this information?
Hey, so Dina, I want to correct you on one thing. When you kicked off, you said people don't look forward to tax season. You know, there's 500 Canadians that work here at Intuit that are super excited about tax season. This is like our Super Bowl, Grammys, Oscars all rolled into one. And we get excited about this every year. And we're super excited about the things that we can bring to Canadians to help them do their taxes. And you're right, people aren't taught about how to do their taxes when they're in high school, even in university. They don't learn that. And what we've learned is at Intuit, we believe that putting the customer first and solving customer problems and pain points is critical to delivering awesome products. So our product management team and our designers and even our engineers do what we call Follow Me Homes, and they go talk to Canadian customers and watch them use our products. And what we identified was that confidence was the biggest factor in people filing their taxes. We have millions of people file taxes with us each year, and they do it and they're not confident at the end. And when we saw that confidence was a problem, we thought, well, the best way to provide confidence, not only with an awesome product, is with people, and bringing people, experts in tax, to the consumer, to the Canadians, so they can feel confident when they file. So we have TurboTax Live Assistant Review, which if people comment below, they can earn win a TurboTax Assistant Review code right away. So Assistant Review is you have on call a tax expert that you can call while you're doing your taxes, and even at the end to do a review of your taxes so you can file confidently. And even in addition to that, we have full service that if you don't even feel like doing your own taxes and you just want to push it over to a tax expert, we have hundreds of tax experts on staff to handle that. And all you do is give us your documents, tell us a little bit of information about yourself, and we take care of it for you.
Yeah, that is so great, Matt. Like, that's great for like new parents, right? They don't have the time, they're stressed out, and they just need to get that stress off them, have someone else take care of it. It's comforting to know that you have people in your corner. Susan, can you let us know a little bit on what you've been doing lately?
What I've been doing, my role here with TurboTax this year is really about education, and it comes to what you both were talking about, is that lack of confidence. And what we're trying to do is help educate the Canadian tax filer, help them feel that they understand a bit more about what they're putting out there, what the information is that's being asked of them, what they can claim, what taxes are about, you know. So we're trying to do that by increasing the amount of information that we can give them by way of our knowledge hub, which is our blog, the TurboTax Canada blog, which is where we're putting a ton of great information, ton of great articles on pretty much every tax topic that's out there. So we're trying to help us, especially those people that want to do the taxes themselves. They're going to find that information that's going to help them get through it, you know, that much easier.
And it is great information. Like being a new mom, coming back from mat leave, I've been using that just to figure out how to do my taxes since we do have a life change in the family. But you're being humble because I do know that you've been doing some more in the studio.
Yeah, actually it was really exciting. We've just finished up doing our In Your Corner series, which is, again, it's that education component, answering those frequently asked tax questions, helping demystify the taxes for people, build the confidence, but we're doing it in some videos. And we've got that coming out on YouTube soon, I think, eh?
Yeah. You got to watch, and make sure to follow. We'll put the link below and subscribe to YouTube because we're really excited about this series, just so that you can watch them when they come out. And Matt, can you run us through any new product or features that you think our Canadians can use this tax season?
Yeah, I've already talked about TurboTax Live, and we're super excited about TurboTax Live because, you know, bringing experts in your corner to help Canadians file their taxes confidently is really what we're all about. The other addition to the family, late last year we added Apple, iOS, and Android apps, and we saw a lot of people said who would want to file their taxes on a mobile app, and what we found was There are a lot of people that their only device, their only computer is that phone in their hand, and by providing them an app on that phone in their hand, they can do their taxes right there, and they don't have to do it all in one sitting. They can snack. They can do it while they're taking the kids to school. They can do it while they're picking their kids up from hockey, or while their kids are practicing hockey. They can sit there and do their taxes. And what we find is people do that. They just snack and do their taxes. And I'm just the mobile advances we've had here at Intuit. We have the leading mobile app in the marketplace, and it will provide a lot more Canadians the ability to do their taxes simply.
That's amazing, and I love the new feature, the driver license.
Yeah, that's a brand new feature this year. You can when you start on the mobile app, you can snap a picture of the back of your driver's license, and it pulls all that information off your driver's license and fills out your return. So we get all your personal information, so you're not having to sit there and put it in on your phone. It just gets scanned right in. And then once you get into the tax product, Autofill My Return is not a new feature, but it is an amazing feature for downloading right from the CRA all of those slips and documents you need to fill out your return. And I think Susan can talk a little bit more about that.
Well, it is a great feature. Yeah, like you said, it's not new because it happens. It's with all the TurboTax products, right? But it is a fantastic feature. So when you are connected to the CRA, we have this ability to get all this information directly from them. And this is one more part that's going to help take away some of that unease when we're doing our own taxes, because when we're connecting the CRA to our tax software, which is fantastic, and it's going to be asking us all these questions, well, what it's doing is it's bringing all that information, so you don't have to remember where is it supposed to go, what form is this supposed to go on. The software is so intuitive, it's doing it for you and getting the right information into the right place for you. So it's a fantastic feature about the products.
That's so comforting. Yeah, like knowing that you can get it done, and it also saves time, right?
Oh, significant amount of time.
Which is amazing for our followers. So what can Canadians do right now, Matt? What do you think is something that you let them know about this season that they can take advantage of?
Well, building off of Autofill My Return, on Monday, the CRA opened up AFR, and I think what Canadians can do right now is go download the app. Go download the app, take a picture of your driver's license, get into it, do your autofill, pull down your T-slips, and see where you stand. I think that's the best thing you can do. And then if you start lacking confidence, you can always reach out to an expert and we'll help you along the way.
That's amazing. And what about you, Susan?
Well, it all comes back to the CRA as well. Again, it's that for those people that don't have a CRA My Account, and for those that don't know what that is, the My Account is a feature where we can log into the CRA and we can see all of these really important documents we have. And you might think, oh, that's just another application I have to sign on to, but it's an essential one. We're finding slips, our T-slips, anything from T4s, T5s, T3s, notice of assessments from last year's, our TFSA and our RRSP contribution limits, because those are really important, especially if you are, say, you've just used one of our tax calculators and you think, oh, I'm going to owe some tax, I might want to throw some more money on my RRSP. You need to know how much room you have left because you only get so much every year. So that's why you want to be getting that login with the CRA. So even if you've lost something, it's there. You have that ability. Also, you get to watch when those refunds are coming in. Check on things like your Canada Child Benefit. When are you expecting payments from the GST agency credit? So it's a really fantastic platform to keep you informed about what's going on with your specific tax situation that the CRA has on you. So I think every Canadian should have this.
And the RRSP deadline is March 1st.
No, March 2nd actually, because it's just because it's on a weekend.
Oh wow!
So hold on, you guys are throwing around a lot of acronyms here. So I live in Toronto, and I love Second City, and I go to Second City all the time, and they have this bit that they do where they're doing ad lib on the stage, and they ask somebody in the audience. Could you help me? Could you tell me what an RRSP is? Now, I've seen this 3 times. Canadians, the person in the audience said, I don't know what an RRSP is.
Oh, wow.
So, Susan,
can you
what
please
is an
explain?
RRSP?
It's a registered retirement savings plan. It is one of our best deductions that we have in our pocket. It's where we're putting money aside, plus we're getting a tax benefit right off our taxable income, but again, to a certain amount every year. So that's why if you're investing for your future and you're using an RRSP product, you want to make sure that you know what you're allowed to be contributing every single year, because you don't want to go over those limits, because they can get some hefty penalties.
So what's cool about that is we have an actual calculator on our website that allows you to go see what your limits are, how much you can contribute, and it is a big deduction on your taxes. And that deadline is coming up for tax year 19 at the end of February. So you asked, like, what could people be doing? Hop online, go see our calculator, see how much you can put away and how much you're going to save on your taxes.
Yeah, because if you've got the cash, it's the time to do it. It's doing that two-pronged approach, right? Financial planning and tax saving. Can't
Which
really
is
go wrong.
amazing.
It
right?
is awesome,
You're
right?
saving for your future and you're
saving a bit now, right? So
So it's a win-win.
yeah, I think so.
That's amazing.
And that was the first. So I've 3 kids in their 20s out of university, and that's the first discussion I had with them when they got their first jobs to start their career was, how are you saving for your retirement? And that really is what the RRSP is all about, is saving for your retirement, putting a little bit away. So even after February, when you get to March and April and you're filing your tax return, you get a refund back. That's the time to think about, can I take some of this refund? Because about 85% of our customers get a refund, and for a lot of them it's their biggest paycheck of the year.
Right.
And can I take some of that and put it into an RSP? And it's going to give you 2 benefits. You're going to be saving for your retirement, and you'll get a benefit next year on your tax return when you come back to us.
That is such an important conversation to be having with your kids. Like looking at the research that, people feel like they didn't learn what they needed to know when it comes to taxes and finances in high school. Like, it's something important to get that knowledge, right? So that's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What about how to set up a CRA My Account? I know we get that a lot. Like, what's the process? If you can walk us through that, Susan.
It's actually incredibly simple. You literally, I tell people, go to Google, just type in CRA My Account. It's going to take you right there, and it has a little button that says register, and you're just going to follow along. I recommend people doing, that's one of the first things I recommend people doing at the beginning of a tax season, because it does, sometimes there's 1 to 2 week lag because you need to get a code from the government to establish that. So don't wait till the last minute if you really need to get that information, and you don't want to end up being on the phone with the CRA for hours because they're really busy right now. So sign up now, and then hopefully you'll have access, especially if you're trying to find those contribution limits. But I will say, though, that everybody does receive a notice of assessment after their income taxes are completed. So when you got yours done last year, so when you filed last year through your TurboTax, you would have received your notice of assessment, and it should be also on there. Okay, so that documentation is also on there. That's talking about not just RRSP contributions, but TFSAs as well.
Oh, okay. That's good insight. We have a few questions coming in from our viewers. Hello, everyone. Our first question is from Marianne. Hi, Marianne. How many years of past income tax can I file?
Well, that's actually an interesting question, because it's almost, I'm wondering if it's part product, part actual tax, because, well, you need to file every tax return, Marianne. You don't get to pick how many tax returns you have to file. You need to file your tax returns, and you want to file those tax returns, because filing the tax return, it's not just about figuring out what taxes you owe, what credits you're going to get, but it's also how you're going to be able to qualify for things like the GST, HST credit, the Canada Child Benefit. If you're not filing your tax returns, you're not going to be able to qualify for these benefits. It's essential to do this. So when it comes to how many past tax returns, how many years, you go back as far as you haven't filed. However, then I would turn to Matt and I'd say, okay, well, Matt, how many back tax returns can we file on TurboTax?
So we always have the current year up and the prior 2 years up. So this year we'll have tax year 19 up. That's the tax year you're filing in, and we'll have 17 and 18 up as well. So you can always come to TurboTax and file those last 2 years, get yourself caught up, and get into this tax season. And for all of our customers now, we have what we call Tax Return Archive. So you can always go back and look at your tax returns from prior years and also see your notice of assessments as well.
Perfect.
So AZ is also asking, when is the first day that one can start filing this year?
Well, if it's electronically, NETFILE opens February 24th. So we're very excited. That's not even a week and a half away. And as I just found out, it's actually the NHL trade deadline, 3 o'clock.
Wow.
So once that's done, you could start filing your taxes. Go get that done. February 24th, NETFILE opens.
One more question we have is, how does my tax situation change as a first-time home buyer? That's an interesting question.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not an easy one to answer, because hi, whoever you are, I don't know who you are. I don't know anything about your tax situation, so I can't tell you how it's going to change. You know, there are credits available. There's the home buyers credit for the first time home buyers. I'm trying to think of what else could qualify, because what has impacted you because you bought your first home?
Well, Susan,
what has changed?
what's
Did you
interesting
move?
about that is if they actually get into the product,
Yeah.
we'll walk them through that and ask them those
Exactly.
questions. So even if they aren't ready to file their taxes, they can get into TurboTax and go through all those questions that'll get to their home buyer credit and
And
see if they
yes.
qualify for it.
And that's fantastic. Exactly. So even when you're not sitting, you're not sitting beside somebody like myself and we're walking through it together. The TurboTax product, the assistant review, full service, they're walking us through it. So
That's true.
If you have questions like this, it's going to help tell
And the
you.
good thing is that you don't have to pay till the end. So
Yes.
you can get all that,
Right.
figure it out, and then you pay when you're ready to file. So
Yeah,
it's
I love
great.
that ability.
So Darcy's asking, hey Darcy, how are you? How can you use your post-secondary children's school credit if they have no income?
So by the way, what's interesting, the dynamic you're seeing here is the dynamic that we have at TurboTax, is all the people that design the product and develop the product. We're backed by hundreds of tax experts, and you'll see every time a tax question's asked,
I
we
get that.
look at our tax expert, right? Because I'm not confident in answering that question either, and I don't think you are. So
No.
just like our customers, we look
We all-
we look
yes.
right to our
And all
tax
the
expert in
professionals.
our
I'll keep
corner.
looking at-
Yeah.
I just want to go, what? Who are you looking
Yeah.
at? What are you
Here's
talking
our
about?
tax
Okay.
expert in our corner.
Yeah.
So secondary children's school credits, so if they don't require it, you can bring over up to a maximum of $5,000 of their tuition credits. Okay, so they're going to get, and this is one of the things I find with students is the hardest, is getting them to go onto their university site and download the proper T2202 form, which actually gives us that credit. It's telling us what they can claim, so they get to claim their stuff if they need it, but then up to a maximum of $5,000, less what they've used, they can transfer to an eligible person. Okay, and it's
That's
usually it's a
interesting.
parent, a grandparent, or a spouse.
That's some good information there. We have a few more questions.
Okay.
If you're okay with that.
Sure.
Any tips on deductions for our new parents out there?
For new parents out there, actually there's a ton of stuff, and if we use the term deduction loosely as what kind of deductions, credits, what kind of tax stuff is there out there for new parents, there's a lot of things that you're going to want to do as a new parent, whether you've adopted or you've had a baby, because it all still applies. So if we look at things like if you have adopted a child, there are adoption expenses that can be claimed. All of these are, of course, there's certain limits, there's certain eligibilities, but I'm just going to talk on a broad
generic,
scale, very general.
Yeah.
But then we also, of course, you want to be applying for your CCB, which is your Canada Child's Benefit. You want to be making sure you've got your child care. So child care is a deduction. There's a form you fill out. It's a T778. And what that's going to do is tell you who on either yourself or your spouse who gets to claim the child care and how much you get to claim, and then that's a deduction. And then as we just answered about tuition, well, you get tuition credits if your kids don't need this. Obviously, you just had a baby. You don't need that, not worrying about that yet, but these are things you want to look forward to. And then we get into things like eligible dependents. So it's quite a huge, there's a lot that we can do, but everything comes down to you and your specific situation. It's a lot of, if you have this, you may qualify for this. So it's hard to speak to anybody in particular.
So we know that they canceled the fitness credit a while back, right?
Federally, yes, they did. There are
Federally.
some provinces that still offer different credits like that.
Okay. And what about summer camps?
Summer camps, there are limits again as well. You're going to want to look into there's federal and there's provincial deductions and credits, right? So just because the federal government changes were made legislatively there that take away, for example, our education credits, some provinces still offer that. So some provinces still allow you to do that. So depending on where you live, your situation is definitely going to be different from anybody else in another province.
So what's interesting here is as we've gone out and talked to our customers and seen them use the product, a lot of people talk about you have a simple tax situation, and what we find out, and you hear Susan talking, it's if this, then that. There's no such thing as a simple
No.
tax situation, and just one little change that we think is little. I bought a house, I sold a house, I got married, got divorced, had kids, went to college, university, whatever. All those little changes create fear, uncertainty, and doubt in our customers that they can actually do their taxes, and that's what's really what we do it into it. We take the complex, we make it very simple, we ask very simple questions to get you through those if-thens that Susan's talking about and get you to, do you get that deduction, do you get that credit, what's your refund, what's your balance due? And if you're still not confident in that, that's where you can reach out to one of our experts, and then that's where somebody like Susan isn't going to if-then you to death. They're going to ask about your situation. They're going to verify what you're thinking, how you're feeling, and give you the confidence to file.
That's exactly right, Matt. That's the situation, is that we can talk about all the different scenarios, but every person out there is different. Every single person. There's no one person that has the exact same situation as someone else, because you don't know what's going on in their lives. But when you're getting these experts, you know, they're working with our experts here at TurboTax, is that person's talking to you. And they're talking about you,
and they're understanding, your situation,
right? So then, even if it's something that they do, you know, they're finding that information. They know where to look for it. So it definitely helps alleviate, because you're right. There is no such thing as basic or simple tax situation.
Right.
You know, it's we're all a bit complicated, right?
And that's why, you know, last year we launched our Smart Look technology, which really allowed our experts to see your screen and you can see them. Of course, they can't see you, so you can be in your PJs or whatever you want to be in while you're talking to us. But that expert is literally sitting up there in your corner, looking at your screen, helping you do your tax return and giving you that confidence to move forward.
And I love the fact that they can circle what you need to focus on and guide you, which is amazing. We have a question from Chris. Hey, Chris. TFSA or RRSP, which should I put my money into first if I only have enough to choose one? It's a good question.
Are you taking that, Matt? No, okay.
I'm looking right at you, Susan.
Okay, so again, and I feel like sometimes you know, I create more questions than I answer, because it's very specific to Chris's situation, right? And this is where, unfortunately, it's a little bit, we have to also look outside to some financial management and some financial planning in terms of retirement. However, easiest case scenario is you have to think about, well, obviously, where do you have room? And what's your situation going to be like when you do retire? Where are you right now? Are you low income? Perhaps you're a student. Well, you don't really need the tax deduction of an RRSP right now, right? So maybe that's not the best place to be putting your money. Maybe a TFSA right now is the right one for you. Perhaps though you're middle-aged, we're heading towards retirement and our income is much higher and we do need to bring it down a little bit. That's when we're going to want to consider an RRSP if it works with our financial planning, because the RRSP gives us that deduction now, because we get taxed on it when we pull it out at a later date. So you have to make the determination of where you are in your life and what's going to benefit you right now. I personally don't believe that there's a right or wrong answer. You have to find what's working for you in the situation you're in today and tomorrow.
That's really good advice, Susan.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I love how you answered that. All right, so our next question, if I want to contribute to my spouse's RRSP, do I need to max my personal contribution room first?
No.
No, you don't need to do that.
No, because the spousal RRSP is a benefit so that where and I am not a financial planner. I am not a financial advisor. I'm going to actually answer this more as somebody who has a spousal RRSP. Okay. So the way we it's personal experience, and then the tax side. So spousal RRSPs, what it does is it allows us to have our spouse have an RRSP that perhaps they're not earning as much as we are. But what we get to do is we can contribute to their spousal RRSP, and it affects our deduction room, not theirs. But yet it's their savings at the end of the retirement time. So what we're allowed to do is in a situation like that is maybe I've maxed out mine, well, and I want to make sure, let's put some money into our spouses. I can put that money in. I get the tax bonus. My spouse now has some retirement savings in the end of the year. So you're looking at, again, it's a personal situation. But no, I don't have to be maxed out. That's where your financial advisor should be talking to you, and you're directing them and saying, oh, this is my contribution to a spouse, or this is my contribution to that's my understanding and my personal experience. My spouse does not have to be maxed out before they contribute to mine.
Interesting.
I love all the questions around savings.
Yeah,
I really do, because when you look across Canadians, you see a large percentage of Canadians don't have $2,000 in a rainy day fund.
Yeah,
they can't come up with that money should the muffler go out on the car, or should something happen with one of their kids, they can't come up with that money. So I love talk about how do we increase our savings.
Yes.
It is a little bit of take away from now so that I can save for later. And I want more Canadians to think about how can we increase our savings so that we have that rainy day fund put away. It's kind of like a baseline thing that you need in case of an emergency happens. So the more we talk about savings, I get really excited about that.
Well, and it comes back to what you had mentioned before, Matt, I think it was you, that you had talked about how the refund is sometimes that largest paycheck that a lot of our clients are seeing. And this is that opportunity for the clients to look at what was their tax situation last year. Maybe we need to save some of that money, because if they might be in a similar tax situation this year where they might owe, they want to plan ahead. Or, like you suggested, planning into RRSP so they prep for deduction, using it to budget across the year, because that's what taxes are. It's an overview of what's happened to you financially for the year, and you want to use that information to help you going into the new year. So nothing is this huge surprise. Nobody wants the surprise of a huge tax bill at the end of the year, right? So use the information that you know to help you get through the year.
Yeah.
So.
And Matt, that's what I love about the product. It goes through almost over 400 credits and deductions, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
It literally walks you through everything, question by question, to see what you're eligible for. And that's I love that too.
Yeah, well, we're utilizing all of that. We have a question that just came in from Kelly. Hey, Kelly. I received child support, was ordered to pay some back. Do I include what I paid back in 2019 or the full amount I was ordered to pay back? Provide general info on child support.
I like the smiley face.
Yeah, I love the smiley face.
That is, I'm going to say, Kelly, that's a tough one for me to answer. This is one where I would want to be looking back actually into some of the rules that are going on, because when it comes to child support, there are rules. There were certain years where we got capped off, where some support was deductible, some wasn't. Some payments were deductible, some wasn't. And on the top of my head, I couldn't tell you what in this situation, when is that, when was that spousal or child support arrangement made? What law does it fall under? What year does it fall under? So I wouldn't want to say anything. Child support, again, depending on the year, some of it is, some of it you claim and some of it you don't claim. So I can't, without knowing the year and specifically, I would want to go back and look on that topic.
Kelly, if you'd like, you can DM us. Our social care team are on, so they can you can give a bit more information so that we can understand your situation more and give you the answers you need.
And that's the best thing about the care team, right? Because they can look at it and they can find that information specific to her, because it's so general, and that's where I feel sometimes really it's hard to do these questions, these general questions, because it's like everything is if, may. Okay, maybe.
And that's what I love. That's what I love about our full service product this year. Because if you get into these really complicated situations where you don't think you can do it yourself, it's a 3-step process to start with full service. You give us some information about yourself. You take a picture of your driver's license so we can verify it's you, Dina. That's why we ask for that picture of your driver's license. You sign a form that says we can go into CRA and pull your information down, so we have a broad view of you. But really the cool thing is the first initial consult. We want to talk to you first and see what's top of mind. And if this is a top of mind question for you, we want to have that conversation early, so it's in our experts' minds when they're doing your taxes for you. And when it's now time to e-file, because that's an e-file product, and we do the final review with you, that's a question that will come up as well, and we can explain how your taxes were impacted by that.
And we file for you.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's literally like I love it, because obviously I have my own practice. I'm an accountant. It's like having somebody just sitting beside you, and it's so you're not able to do that. So us having this product at TurboTax, it's fantastic that we have those people, as we say, in your corner, sitting there, walking you through it. So you might not be able to figure out where it is. You might not be able to find the information, but that person is. They're going to know where to look, and they're going to get you the information. So I know, as myself, as a tax person, I love that about this product.
What I love is the fact that I don't have to leave my home in the cold winter snow.
Even better.
Or wait in a long queue for an hour to get someone to help me. So for sure, please check out, if you have any complicated situation, check out our TurboTax Live full service.
And the one thing that really excites me about it is we've hired hundreds of tax experts with an average of 10 years experience all across Canada.
Yeah.
So we have somebody in Ontario that can talk to you about Ontario. We have somebody in Alberta that can talk to you about Alberta. And that's what I love about our product is not only did we create a new product for consumers, we created a venue to hire on many tax experts and bring them on, and I love that.
And one thing which we have that's exciting right now is we have a free 20-minute consultation call. So until February 21st, we'll be putting the link as well in the comments. You can schedule a free 20-minute consultation call with our experts and get those questions answered as well. Our next question is from Chris. If I realize I made a mistake in a return after filing, how do I go about correcting it in TurboTax and then with the CRA?
You can refile.
Well, that's why I was looking at you, was the product man.
You can come back into TurboTax, get back into your tax return, and do a refile with us in the CRA.
Which is great because then they don't have to go to the CRA directly. It's all done still through in product, which is fantastic because then you're not dealing with the CRA queues or trying to log in and trying to manually change it within the CRA system. Just go right back in. That's a fantastic feature.
And that is not an uncommon situation where people file and then they go, oh, I got a new slip. What do I do?
Yeah.
You refile.
And can I add to that, just because you brought that up, you just led me right in there, and I want to say that does happen all the time, and it is because of those slips. And a lot of time, this is where we have that benefit of having the CRA My Account, we have the Autofill My Return, but you have to keep in mind too as well that not all slips come out at the same time. So depending on what you're anticipating, your T4 and your T5 you might be getting by the end of February, early March, but that T3 you might not be seeing until April. And then in some cases, the CRA only has what they've received. So sometimes those RRSP forms haven't made it there until April too. So you have to be aware of your personal tax situation and what you might be anticipating receiving, because that happens more often than not, and that's why, because the CRA hasn't received it yet, the mail was slow, we have a postal strike, who knows what happens, right? So we're having to refile because and you want to get it in there because the CRA will eventually get a copy of it. So you need to make sure that your tax return is reporting the same information.
And I think that's where the line-by-line review comes in, right? Make sure that you got all your information, everything's in there.
Well, so on Monday, CRA opened up AFR, and I could throw more acronyms at you if you want. But I was talking to our head of product, and I kid you not, we are actually excited here when things open up and we can actually start serving the millions of customers that we serve. And I looked at my head of product and I said, "Woo, AFR is open. We can have our customers go in and start downloading their slips and everything." And she just kind of patted me on the head and said, Matt, they're not all available just yet. So even if you go in right now, you may still have to wait for all your slips to show up.
Yeah, for sure. For our self-employed that might be watching, when is the time that they should be filing their taxes? Given the fact that it's like a gig economy now and they have a few side jobs here and there, like what would you recommend like as an income bracket when they should start filing as a self-employed?
Any money you earn, you have to report, right? That's the way it works. So even if you're driving an Uber or you're part of Skip the Dishes, whatever it is, and this is just your side gig, you think it's nothing. It's not. It is a business. You are now self-employed, and you have to file that information with the CRA. And if you're a sole proprietor, which most of these gig economy people are, it's all part of your personal T1 general form. So it's easy. We have TurboTax Self-Employed that helps walk you through it, and it's going to help you as well take advantage now of some of those expenses that you could be using against that business income. That's going to help bring that down, because once you become self-employed, it's not just about income you're earning, it's also about what costs are you incurring to run and operate a business. So that's another whole other step. So we don't get to choose to say, oh, I've only made this much, I'm going to file my taxes. No, you earn money, you file taxes. Even if you don't think you're going to owe money, you want to be filing those taxes. And I think I mentioned it earlier, because you want to be considered for the GST, HST credits. You want to make sure you're still getting your CCB, because if you don't file your taxes, those types of things are going to go. You have to be filing
And
a
is that
return.
the same for like influencers and kids that are doing YouTube channels,
Oh,
right? And promotion.
absolutely. If you've got that, you know, all of a sudden you've realized I've got 50,000 followers on YouTube. All of a sudden I'm this amazing sensation. I don't, by the way, but that's okay. But if you do, and then you
You're
start,
amazing sensation.
I know. Then you start earning money from it. So say you're getting sponsorships and things like that. That's income. Welcome to the self-employed world, because that's what you have to watch out for. It's not just, you know, somebody giving you money, I don't have to do anything with it. Yes, you do.
That's interesting.
You're earning
and would the
income.
parent file or the kid file?
No, children file.
Oh,
You file.
wow.
Everybody in Canada, we all file our own returns. Okay. However, we are able to file as a joint filing. But however, every Canadian has their own individual tax return. So even children that, you know, young children that are movie stars, they have to file their own tax returns. Obviously, the parents do.
interesting.
But
Yeah.
every individual earning money in Canada is filing a return.
That's interesting. We have a new question from Nancy. Can you talk about the safety security issues with using a mobile app and doing your taxes for those who have never used it before and need some advice?
Yeah, so
That would be for you, Matt.
the security of our customers' data is really paramount to us, and I call it our customers' data. It's not Intuit's data, it's not TurboTax's data, it's the customer's data, and we treat it as such. We don't share that data with anybody unless the customer gives us the approval to do that. It's your data, it's sitting in your account. From a security standpoint, I believe that storing it in the cloud with the security measures that we have is highly secure. For example, if you just did it at home and left it sitting on your desk at home, is your home monitored 24 hours a day? Do you know what would happen if somebody broke in and stole your laptop? All your information's on it. When it's stored in the cloud and you have a company of 10,000 people with red teams that actually hit our systems all the time to figure out what our security holes are and what holes we have and how do we block bad performers. We're doing that all the time. So you are highly secure. And when it comes to the mobile app, what's cool about the mobile app is nothing is stored on your phone. It's all stored in the cloud with very tight security rules around that when you're inputting stuff into the app, it's not being stored on your phone. So if you lose your phone,
Oh, that's good.
nobody's going to get your
You're not
data.
losing all that data.
And then
That's
if
good.
they want to get into your app, we have face recognition, we have fingerprint recognition. They're going to need you to get into that app.
That's true.
So it's highly secure.
That's awesome.
It's literally better than having it sit on your laptop in your house.
So they should download it and test it now
They should
and check
download
it
it
out.
and test
why
it.
not?
And you know what we
Start
find
your
when we talk to customers that are worried about doing their taxes on their phone, the first question we ask is, do you do your banking on your phone? And
Oh,
they go,
yeah.
yeah, I deposit my checks on the phone, I check my balances, I do transfers on the phone, I use all these tools to do that. Well, we are as secure or more than the bank. So you should feel very confident in downloading that app and using it on your phone.
I have a question for you, Matt. With the mobile app, which I think is awesome because it is true, a lot of people use it, and then we're talking about our live product.
Right.
Is the mobile app just for people that want to do it themselves, or can we still use the assistant review product or the live full service product?
Yeah, so you can do our full suite of do-it-yourself products where you're doing it yourself. You can do assist and review, which is where you have that tax expert in your corner to help you along the way, and use Smart Look, that technology where you can see them and they can't see you, and they can
Even
circle
on the
your
phone.
screen, even on the phone. And then all the way up to full service. Full service is available on the phone.
Okay,
And
fantastic.
actually, it becomes easier on the phone when it's submitting documents to us. It's not go find the PDF and do this and that. It's take a picture of it and store it for us, and then we'll
Fantastic.
look at that.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. I can't.
Excited.
Let's talk about keeping it organized, right?
Tax
doing
can be
tax.
exciting.
Oh, we knew that. We knew that.
We knew
We're
that.
convincing everybody else that tax is awesome. Come on, guys.
I think we have time for one last question. Heidi's asking, what can my daughter claim from college? Her rent?
So this is one of those, again, where are you going to college? What province are you in? One of the main things that we have federally for our kids that are out in university or college is the tuition credit, okay? So that has to do obviously with the tuition, and they get to claim a certain amount of that off of with their taxes. When it comes to other things like rent, and that goes for anybody actually, when it comes to things like rent, mortgages, property taxes, that's provincially based. For example, we're in Ontario, so in Ontario we have the Trillium. Okay, so Trillium is where we have things where we can do our Northern Ontario residence credits, we have our seniors property tax credits, and that's one of the ones where we could be we would be claiming things like, you know, property taxes we've paid if we were in a facility or if we were away. So it all depends on your province. You have to go and look to see, does my province let me do that? Federally, no. Provincially, check out your province, and that's where come on back to our Knowledge Hub, come back to our blog and search about that, because I know for a fact we have articles on rent and claiming rent, and it'll talk to you and it'll help at least guide you, because the one thing we have to remember is these rules and everything do change on a very regular basis. So it's really important to be staying aware of what the particular tax agency, and when I say tax agency, that's CRA is federal, and then everybody else has their own if they file that way. So provincially, sorry, not if they file, but it's all provinces have their own. So you have to be aware of what's going on in your province specifically, because things might change.
That's true.
Just because you claimed it last year doesn't mean you can claim it this year. Right?
Yeah, and you can DM us on Facebook as
Yes,
well,
absolutely.
and talk to our social care, and they can get more insight on where you are and how we can help you with that.
Can I say how amazed I am that Susan can just pull up all of this tax information, this knowledge right from her brain with all the ifs and thens and might apply.
Yeah.
And you know what amazes me is we got 300 tax experts just like Susan out there that can do that just for you, and it's all personal. You can see Susan really is yearning to learn that that person's question more about them.
Yeah.
And that's what you'll see when you talk to our tax experts. They want to know you as a person and help you file your taxes.
Really important, because you want to give the right information,
well,
right?
Because once we know you, it's not always about what's changing in federally, what changes in the tax rules. It's what changed in your life.
Absolutely.
And once we know about your life, we can then direct you to what's going to matter to you. And that's the thing, because that's why I say it's frustrating to say, I can say you this much, but let's have a talk, and then I can tell you a whole lot more.
That's true.
Yeah.
We have time for one more question.
You already said that.
I know. One last one.
And then after this, it's going to be another.
As a newcomer to Canada and doing my tax filing for the first time, what's the best way for me to get started based on me and my family's status?
Well, that's both of us.
Yeah, both of you.
I'm from a how to get started.
Yeah, how to get started maybe. That would be great, like with the product.
Download the app,
Yeah.
come to our website.
Yeah.
We have blogs that can help you there.
Yes.
That will explain first-time Canadians, and we see a lot of that now.
Yeah, and
File as a couple as well,
and again, like I said, you're all doing your own individual tax returns, but they will go jointly together. Get on the blog, look that up. As a newcomer to Canada, there are some things specific around residency and where you're earning your money. However, for the most cases, all the same rules are going to apply. Go to the CRA, get set up right there. Understand what matters in your specific situation. Are you a permanent resident? Are you now a citizen? Are you a deemed resident? I could go on and on and on. But let's look. There are blogs, I know, because I've just updated some. Have a look at that, and then talk to one of the experts on the care team.
Yeah, and the product will guide you as well once
Absolutely.
you're in, so you'll get all those answers.
And we're so serious here, we jumped right in. Welcome to Canada.
Welcome to Canada, that's true.
We're so happy to have you.
This is so wonderful. Thanks, Susan and Matt. I think
Thank
that's
you.
a wrap. So make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to get all the latest information. And if there's any questions that we didn't get to, please wait or DM us. And also our social care will be going back and answering all the questions that are in the stream. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everybody.
Everyone.
Bye.
Okay, great.